Hi everybody, it's Carolina Cooney here with the Oak Bluffs Public Library, and it is time for Cooking with Carolina Live. It's 5 o'clock on Saturday night here on Martha's Vineyard. It's been a really nasty, rainy, cold day here, and I'm making Eggs Benedict tonight, which seems a little sunny for the type of day it is. Plus it's breakfast for dinner, which that's always a good thing. But we're gonna attempt it. I have never made Eggs Benedict before. This is a dish that I would always order at a restaurant for brunch. I remember brunch. Miss brunch. And so I haven't had it for a few years now, honestly. And it's always been one of my favorites. I have never made even the Hollandaise sauce before. And now reading the recipe, I know why it's one of my favorites. Because we'll get started here on the Hollandaise sauce, and we have our saucepan, and we're going to melt 9 tablespoons of butter. So let's get our butter here. So that's a whole stick and a tablespoon of butter. So 1 stick plus. So I turned our pan on low so as to melt the butter nice and slowly. Now I didn't realize also how complicated making making Eggs Benedict is. Pardon me. And it's pretty complex, so I can see why I like to order at restaurants and not make it at home. I think I'll probably feel the same way after making it today, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. So we're melting these 9 tablespoons of butter. And I'm reading from a recipe from the Food Network magazine. And you can get back orders of this magazine at the Oak Bluffs Public Library. Just give us a call, and we are happy to get you some back issues of it. So for the Hollandaise sauce, the first step is to melt the butter in a saucepan over low heat. Remove the pan from the heat and let stand 5 minutes. Skim the foam from the top and discard. Slowly pour the clear butter into a liquid measuring cup, discarding the milk solids at the bottom of the pan. You should have half a cup of clarified butter. Okay, so that's what we're working on right now. We're melting our butter. And this says unsalted butter, but I, of course, have my usual salted butter. So I'll just go a little lighter on the salt in the recipe itself. Okay, so our butter here is melted. It doesn't say to cook it at all, so I'm just going to turn it off and we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes. So put on a timer so we don't get too distracted, and we will give it 5 minutes. So then, in a metal bowl, okay, I have a metal bowl here, or the top of a double boiler. So I don't have a double boiler, so we're going to do like a faux double boiler thing. I'm hoping this will go well. And we are going to take 4 large egg yolks and 1 tablespoon of cold water. So I have some eggs here. And we're just using the yolks too. So I have another metal bowl to separate the eggs into, since I just need the yolks. So of course we'll have to crack our eggs fairly carefully in order to separate just the yolks out, and I've already done a bad job. Yikes. I think I salvaged it. Ooh. All right. That's the best that one's gonna do. Whew. That was risky. This one. That one broke much more evenly in half. And so to separate your eggs, you just very gently pour the egg back and forth from shell to shell. And really try hard not to break the egg yolk, because then you really can't separate it from the white. And you have to do it all over again. Some really gross gloppy eggs here. These are the store-bought eggs that I'm using. Usually I'll use my chicken eggs. I'm going to use my chicken eggs for the eggs that I use for the Eggs Benedict eggs. That's a lot of eggs. But I'm using the store-bought because they tend to be easier to separate, honestly. And we're doing an okay job here. Getting some of the white albumin in there. Thank you, Mark. Hiccups, dear?
Yeah. What? Why are you keeping the egg yolk?
Because this is separating eggs. Uh-oh. See, the yolk just broke, so that's the end of that. And so there we go. So that's my 4.
Is that the white?
That's the egg white.
I'm gonna go because I have the hiccups.
Mm-hmm. Special guest appearance by Dashel. Okay, so you can save your whites. They're very good for a face mask, I must say. Or you can save them to make them with something else. Okay, so now we have our egg yolks, just the yolks in there. And you can kind of see in there, I have a little white left in there, but I'm sure that'll be fine. Now we are going to combine it with cool water, a tablespoon of cool water. So let's see, I need measuring cups for that. And I'll just get a little cool water. Okay, so I have water here. 1 tablespoon goes in with the egg yolks. I knew that was going to happen. Okay, our butter is ready to be separated. And I think we'll actually whisk that in a moment. We'll put the eggs aside for now to do our butter separation. So we're going to skim the foam from the top and discard. Now there's definitely some foam, you can see, on the top. Seems like kind of a waste to discard it. Precious butter. I'm trying to figure out the best way to skim it. I'm sure there's a technique to this that it does not detail in the recipe. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I'm going with a wooden spoon. Wooden spoon. So it all kind of glops over together because it's cooled for those 5 minutes. I don't know about the skimming aspect of this though. Let's see. I'm gonna get a different spoon. Go with my other first choice, which was this plastic spoon, which can be a little more specific. There we go. That looks good. Now you just do your best to get those solids off the top that have gathered. This is making me think about lobster with the clarified butter. Oh, so good. Sometimes I think lobster is really just a vehicle for butter delivery. No, there's not a whole lot more I can skim off the top here. Maybe a little go along the sides. Okay, well, we've got quite a bit skimmed off the top there. Hi, Jack. My #1 fan right there, Jack Ryan. Okay, so let us see here. We are going to slowly pour the clear butter into a liquid measuring cup, discarding the milk solids at the bottom of the pan. Okay, so we're going to do our best here. Actually, now that I'm doing this, I can skim a little more off the top. And the pan's cool, so I can hold it like I am. Yeah, this actually works pretty well. Give a little more before we pour it in. As I'm doing this, I'm gaining all the more respect for those chefs who make Eggs Benedict. Kind of a, oh, I'm not going very slowly. Okay, slowly, slowly. Okay, right about up to where maybe we can a little more out of it here. That's probably about as good as it gets. Okay, so now we have our milk solids separated from our this is kind of a scary thing if you're a perfectionist. I'm happy enough with it. Okay, so we have our clarified butter here. So we've removed all the milk fats from it. And it says about a half a cup. I do not have half a cup. I have a third of a cup. We'll work with it. Okay. I don't feel like I really wasted too much. Maybe I can get a little more out of here. Probably not worth risking. We'll work with what we have. It's still plenty of butter. Now, we're back with our eggs. And we are going to whisk these. So we have the 4 egg yolks. We've added the tablespoon of cold water. And now we're going to whisk until frothy 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, but prior to that, this recipe is definitely one you want to read very much in advance. So this is the second step. In a metal bowl or the top of a double boiler, combine the egg yolks with the cool water. Whisk until frothy 1 to 2 minutes. Place the bowl over a pot filled with a few inches of simmering water. Do not let the bottom of the bowl touch... Okay, I'm glad I read this again even. Do not let the bottom of the bowl touch the water, and cook whisking until the eggs are thickened 5 to 8 minutes. Don't rush this step because the sauce needs to be based on fluffy cooked eggs. Keep the heat low as well to avoid overheating and scrambling the eggs. So, sounds pretty complicated. We're going to do what we can here. I didn't realize with our double boiler here, maybe what I need to do is, pardon me, I think I need to find a different pan, a different bowl. Okay, I think that will suffice. So I'm going to froth them up in here. I'm going to pour, okay, we need this to be going to get our water simmering. So just simmering, not boiling. I'm not going to put this on there quite yet so I can see when it's simmery. Okay, so that'll take 1 to 2 minutes. We'll start doing our frothing here. Do not let the bottom of the bowl. Place the bowl over. And then you continue whisking while it's over the double boiler here. Hard to tell if they're getting frothy or not. And this is definitely one you also have to prepare all your items in advance for. Because after this, we will want to remove the bowl from the pot and place it on top of a kitchen towel to stir in, or to whisk in the clarified butter. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. Okay, so that is 2 minutes of frothy whisking. Now, this is not simmering yet. It was supposed to be simmering. I'm going to pump it up just a little. It heats up pretty quickly. Pardon me a moment. Okay, so it looks like we have a little simmer going here. Now I'm going to turn it down to about a medium. Hopefully that will be good. I'm going to put my little double boiler pan up here. Now you could mix the eggs and the water up in the pan or the bowl that you're going to use for your double boiler. Okay, so now here's where we want to keep it going with our whisking. So we cook whisking until the eggs are thickened 5 to 8 minutes. So it's 5:25 here. Have to be very attentive. Do not rush this step. Okay. So after this is thickened, we're also going to be taking one large lemon and zesting it and juicing it. I can hear it heating up now. Okay, we're about 3 minutes in. I'm not seeing much thickening yet. too thickening. Yikes, alright, yowzers. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I don't know about this. Well, I think we may have that happen very quickly. You didn't want to scramble the eggs, and these are looking a bit scrambled. Keep the heat low as well to avoid overheating and scrambling the eggs. Yeah, a little late for that. Well, my eggs definitely scrambled. So, I don't think we can really use this. And I'm going to have to separate 4 more eggs. So far, I'm not loving the eggs Benedict. Okay, let's try this again. Luckily, I have a bunch of eggs. And I can handle attempting another round. Now, we learn from our mistakes. And I think, so it's said to have a couple of inches of water, a few inches of simmering water. But obviously this was too much water, and it was too close to the bowl that I was trying to use as the double boiler. So, I'm going to switch this up. We're going to try again. With a bigger pot. I mean, that seems like the double boiler concept. Alright. Let's see what we can do here. Try again. So, we're going to separate some eggs again. Woohoo! Actually, I still have my other bowl. And once the yolk breaks, don't try to keep going back and forth with it. That's time to give up on separating that yolk.
How is the eggs Benedict going?
Well, we had a little snafu.
What happened?
So, you separate the yolk, and then you froth it up with some water. Then you're supposed to cook it in a double boiler.
That yolk or this?
This is the yolk, that's the egg white.
Oh.
So then you're supposed to cook it in a double boiler, which is like a pot over water. It's like we did it, I think we've done it with chocolate before. But, woo, you have to make sure that the pan that you're using or the bowl that you're using doesn't get too hot, because the bowl, like, it took a second for it to get hot and turn it to scrambled eggs. And you can't have it be scrambled, you have to keep it saucy, because you're making a hollandaise sauce. So it's kind of a temperamental thing. It's kind of hard, honestly.
Oh.
And I don't have a proper double boiler. Makes it a little more complicated. Okay. There we go. 4 egg yolks. And this time I have another whisk. So we need our, that's what we don't have anymore. We need our tablespoon of cold water. I think we still have our measure. If not. We still have it. Okay, so a tablespoon of the cold water. And 2 minutes of froth. I am going to turn this on to low. Okay. These seem to get frothier. Okay. Now I'm putting it over the double broiler. And this time I'm keeping it on low. Because the second that it got too hot, that was it. Scrambled the eggs. So hopefully this time that will not be the case. So, we're not rushing it, because the sauce needs to be based on fluffy cooked eggs. So, 5 to 8 minutes. We're at 5:37. This is definitely not the type of dish for an easily distracted cook to make. You must be very attentive. And your arm gets tired too. Now it doesn't need to be in another bowl because I just switched it over to a different bowl before because the other size didn't work for the double boiler. But this one works. This is probably a better way to do a double boiler where it fits in more nicely. So this is actually a bowl in the pot. It's just a perfect fit. It's also possible that on low, that aluminum pot would have gotten too hot regardless. This time we're looking quite good so far. Don't let me jinx myself. I don't have enough eggs to do this again. About 4 minutes, let's see, 5 to 8. And you can tell that they are definitely getting thicker. And it has that lovely hollandaise color. Give it maybe 1 more minute. I'm afraid to push it too far. Oh yeah, you can really see it thickening now. Okay. I'm going to turn this off now. Grab this to remove it from the heat. Little by little, we're whisking in our clarified butter now. bit of the milk fat left. So we'll save that aside. Okay. So the consistency at the moment is kind of puddingy. In fact, quite puddingy. Okay, so now we are going to zest our lemon. So we have a nice fresh lemon. And it doesn't give a specific measurement for the amount of zest, so it just says 1 lemon. And I like it lemony, I'm zesting the whole thing. Everybody knows I love my zester. I think it's just such an ingenious tool. Okay, now I just need to get a little knife to cut the lemon in half. And now it calls for 2 tablespoons of the lemon juice, which is probably going to be the whole lemon. For that. Okay, there was 1. Sleeves up. Ooh. And of course you could also use a juicer to juice your lemon, or if you have pre-made lemon juice, you could certainly use that, although I think the fresh lemon juice is best. So the lemon halves, the whole lemon made about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I like it lemony, so I'm just going to squeeze the excess in there too. The lemoniness is my favorite part. Has to be lemony. Okay, so we're whisking in the zest and the juice and a pinch of salt and pepper. So as I said, I used salted butter, so I won't put in too much salt. And just a few cracks of pepper. You can always add more. And now we'll whisk this all in. And this takes it from a pudding consistency to more of a creamy sauce consistency once you take it to this step. Whew, thank goodness it worked out a second time, huh? Ooh, I would have been mad if I ruined the eggs again. But it was a learning experience. And now you don't have to make the same mistake. Okay, so our Hollandaise sauce is looking fantastic. Yay! But we're not done with this challenging dish. So, try to gently get the sauce off your whisk without getting it everywhere else in the kitchen. Okay, so we have our sauce ready. Now we will make the Eggs Benedict. So we're going to place English muffin halves. Do a little shifting and cleanup here. Still will need that. And I can still this also. Just flip that over for now. Okay, now we're going to take our English muffins. Gotta have your English muffins for your Eggs Benedict. So we're going to take 2 sets of English muffins, and we are going to, one by one, so we'll take this puppy here, and I have it here somewhere. We're actually going to roll out the English muffin a little to flatten it. I'm not sure that maybe on top is the best way. Now, you do have to be a little careful when you're doing this to not break it apart. I think this is sort of an odd part of the recipe, but it looks really good in the picture, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. Something about it seemed very appealing. So you just kind of roll them out and smash them a little bit. Okay, so we have rolled them out, and because of their sort of delicate nature, we're going to lightly toast them. So I'm going to put them in the toaster. Carefully, they're kind of fragile now. And I'm going to put it on toast, but I'm going to make sure I set that to the very lightest setting possible. Very, very lightly toasted. Because I can see when they're like that, it would be very easy to overcook those as well. Okay, so now we are filling a large, wide pot with about 3 inches of water. Bring to a simmer. So I have my pot here. Okay, so I filled my pot with about 3 inches of water, and I'm bringing it to a simmer. And we're going to add vinegar. So we have some apple cider vinegar, and this apparently, we add the vinegar to help the eggs keep their shape. So we're going to be dealing with more eggs. It's a very, very egg-heavy dish. And it says to crack each egg into a separate small bowl. So that's why you see me here. I have 2 small bowls to put the eggs in. It seems crazy that all this for 1 serving of Eggs Benedict. Okay, so we're cracking our egg carefully into the bowl. There's 1. Okay. And now we're waiting for this water to come to a simmer. Put these aside just for a moment. And while we're doing this and waiting for that water to come to a simmer, we can slice our avocado and maybe prepare the plate. You also need a big kitchen for this dish and somebody to wash the dishes. Let's see here. Okay, we have our lovely plate. And we will slice up our avocado. Definitely in a whole chef's kitchen to make this dish also. Takes a lot of different bowls and cooking containers. Okay, so the sliced avocado is prepped. We're still waiting here to get our simmer going. But we can go and get our, actually this will make 2. These are very lightly toasted. I think I was so nervous about lightly toasting them that they didn't toast enough. I'm going to put them in for 1 more round. Okay, so we've got a simmer going here. I am very nervous about this part too. Okay, so we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Okay, so we'll put our tablespoon of apple cider vinegar into our simmering fish. Water. I would say it's got a little simmer going. Now, we are going to crack each egg into a small bowl. We've done that. Gently drop the eggs 1 by 1 at some distance from one another into the water. Okay, so we do need to get it just a little higher, it sounds like. More of a higher simmer. I'm hoping that's good. Okay, now we're going to drop our eggs 1 by 1 into our simmering water. I really am nervous, y'all. Like what? What's simmering enough is my question. Is this simmering enough? I guess we'll just have to do it. Just do it, Caroline. Ah! Okay, it's in there for better or for worse. There's one. And there's two. Dropped in the simmering water. Okay. Now we lower the heat and poach the eggs until the whites are firm and completely white. 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so 6 o'clock exactly right now. This will lower the heat. Doesn't seem to be super hot, honestly. Let's get our... now these muffins seem quite nicely toasted. I don't think we need to butter them again. I think we've got plenty of butter in the whole dish. And okay. So we need 4 eggs. Excuse me. So I'm going to do this in 2 rounds. I'm not going to ruin 4 if I end up ruining them. So we'll do one batch at a time. Because each Hollandaise will have, or each Eggs Benedict will have 2 eggs. So you can see they're cooking here. What does it say? It says 2 to 3 minutes. Well, we're at 2 minutes now, and they definitely are not fully white yet. So let's see. For the next batch, I think I'm gonna have it simmering a little higher when I put the eggs in. And for some reason, I thought the eggs would kind of float in this simmering water, but no, they sink to the bottom. They're almost completely white now. Okay, I think they're about good. So we want to use a slotted spoon to remove them to a kitchen towel to drain. All right. This requires you to have a fairly decent kitchen towel to use. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go for it. It actually kind of stuck on the bottom. Eh. Even though it's a non-stick pan, so that's kind of annoying. seem kind of fragile when you take them out also. So we're going to season with our salt and pepper. This was a doozy of a recipe. I thought I was picking something easy to make. I don't know what gave me that idea. In the restaurants, it looks easy. Okay, so now we are going to place our avocado slices. You can do it much neater than that, I'm sure. On top of our English muffins. So I'm going to divide again. Could use a little bit bigger of a kitchen. Okay. Kind of see it. So I'm just spreading out the avocado. I'll try to make the next one more picture perfect. And top with the poached egg. I don't know about this weird kitchen towel idea. A mess. Don't like that idea at all. Do not like that idea. I don't know about that one. You flip them over like that. Maybe that's his trick. There we go. That does look better. Okay. Things that I would add to the recipe. It really does help to have very detailed instructions sometimes if this is your first time making it. So what I did was took the poached eggs and you flip them over off of your kitchen towel to make it look decent. So now, we're going to top it with some of this Hollandaise sauce. So, let me find... Now, in the picture, I will say that their Hollandaise looks a lot runnier than my Hollandaise. My Hollandaise is definitely more, it's a nice thick sauce. Okay, we've got it topped with Hollandaise. Theirs really runs off a lot more. I'll show you the picture. There's the picture of theirs. Now we're going to, it says to top with a little Cajun seasoning. I don't have Cajun seasoning, but I do have Tabasco. So I'm going to give a little shake of that. Why not? And then just a little sprig of parsley. Because of course, if you made eggs Benedict, it's fancy. Gotta be fancy with your parsley sprig. All right, we've done it. We have made eggs Benedict. Here is the final result. Woo! I mean, it looks good in there. I think it looks better on camera than it does in person, honestly. The sauce is definitely kind of gloopy compared to, but maybe it'll be fluffy and delicious like they said it should be. Why, thank you, Karen. Not easy. So, the last thing to do is the best part. It's the taste test. At least you sure hope it's the best part, right? Okay. I'm excited about this part. So let's see, I want to get a little bit of everything there. Okay. You want to have a knife too to cut your English muffin with. Okay, so I guess once you actually cut into it, the egg mixes with the sauce and makes it look much saucier. So here we go. Okay, it is delicious. The sauce is definitely very creamy tasting and very light, which is nice. But it's already kind of cold. I don't know how they do this at restaurants. I mean, they're amazing. I'm definitely leaving a bigger tip next time I get Eggs Benedict and indicating to give some to the chef. Not an easy dish to make. Thank you for joining me. It was quite a journey, and I will see you next week for hopefully a little easier of a recipe.
Bye.
Here's Dexter, probably ready for dinner. I don't think he's gonna like Eggs Benedict.
What sauce?
That's a Hollandaise sauce.
What?
But thanks a lot for joining me, and see you next week. Bye.
What's a